You're scrolling through your professional network, just desperate for a breakthrough. Look, the job market right now is brutal. Your savings are dwindling, the pressure is mounting, and then, boom, a message pops up. A senior recruiter from a massive, highly reputable company wants you. The salary? Incredible. The benefits? Flawless. You feel this massive, overwhelming wave of relief. But I need you to listen to me very closely right now. Behind that perfectly polished profile picture isn't a recruiter at all. It's a highly sophisticated, organized fraudster setting a trap, and they are coming for everything you have. Welcome to The Fraud Files, where we expose real scams and protect Americans like you. Today's case file could literally save your life savings, your identity, and your security. These aren't just petty thieves. They are weaponizing your own ambition against you. Let's get into it.
Okay, let's start by diving into the sheer financial destruction of this crime. $8,900. Take a second and let that sink in. That is the average amount a single victim loses to these employment scams. For most Americans, losing $9,000 overnight, that is catastrophic. That's your rent, your mortgage payments, months of groceries, and your entire emergency fund, just wiped out in a matter of days. And honestly, the cruelest part of all this, these scammers are specifically targeting people who are already financially vulnerable. They know you are actively looking for work. They dangle the promise of a life-changing paycheck, only to completely drain your bank account instead. And this isn't just happening to a few unlucky folks. The scale of this crime wave is absolutely staggering. In 2024 alone, the Federal Trade Commission reported $12.5 billion, with a B, in total fraud losses. These job scams, they make up a massive piece of that pie. And it's getting worse. Fraud losses surged again going into 2025, with nearly 60% of companies reporting an increase in these scams year over year. Employment fraud is accelerating fast, especially because these criminals are now weaponizing AI. They're using it to perfectly impersonate legitimate employers and even create deepfake candidate interactions. It is next-level deception. To really understand the threat lurking on your professional networks, consider this. Over 86 million fake profiles and 142 million spam messages were detected in just the first half of 2024. That is an absolute swarm. You might think you're safe because you're using a trusted professional platform, but the reality is that the digital job market is infested. Scammers are operating massive bot armies. They're cloning the profiles of real high-level executives, and they're casting an impossibly wide net. They hide right out in the open because blending into a boring professional environment instantly lowers your guard.
Part 1. The motives. What do they actually want from you? You might be sitting there asking yourself, why me? What could a fake recruiter possibly want if I don't even have a job to begin with? Well, the reality is, you possess 3 things that are incredibly valuable to organized fraud rings operating on the dark web.
Let's look at their exact playbook, and more importantly, how this destroys real people. Take the financial fraud angle. Consider a real victim. Let's call him David. He's a 35-year-old father who thought he finally secured a lucrative remote IT job. The scammer sent him a check for home office supplies, instructing him to deposit it and then wire the leftover funds to their approved vendor. So David wired the money. Days later, the fake check bounced, and David's bank held him responsible for the wired money, wiping out his entire family savings. Or consider identity theft. They sent you a completely standard-looking fake onboarding document. It asks for your full name, date of birth, social security number, and bank routing details for direct deposit. Once you hit send, your identity is completely stolen. And finally, account takeovers. They trick you into clicking a malicious link to steal your login credentials. Once they own your profile, they use your hard-earned professional reputation to launch scams against your entire network of friends and colleagues.
Part 2. The modus operandi. How do they hunt? Look, their tactics are surprisingly predictable once you know exactly what to look for. These scammers rely heavily on psychological manipulation. They know exactly how to push the buttons of a desperate job seeker. They use flattery, they manufacture a totally false sense of urgency, and they make the opportunities seem incredibly exclusive. You are going to see bot swarms using generic flattery, cloned profiles, and, this is a big one, the oddly common word kindly to lure you right into their trap. Let's analyze this specific quote for a second. It sounds vaguely professional, right? But actually, it's completely hollow. Great expertise here. Notice how it doesn't mention a single specific skill you actually have. And then there's that word kindly. For whatever reason, kindly send me your details or kindly connect is a massive, flashing neon sign that you are dealing with a scammer's playbook. Think about it. Why would a senior vice president of HR at a massive tech company leave a generic comment on your post asking you to send them a connection request? They absolutely wouldn't. It's a bot. It's programmed to engage with active job seekers and lure you into a private message where the real trap begins. So the crucial takeaway here is learning to quickly spot the difference between a legitimate professional and a scammer hiding in their basement behind a free email account. A real recruiter reaches out with specifics. They mention a distinct job title, they reference exactly why your specific background caught their eye, and if they move the conversation to email, it is always from an official corporate domain. The fake recruiter? They do the exact opposite. Their messages are copy-pasted templates. They talk about some vague business opportunity. They try to move you off the platform immediately to a free email service like Yahoo or Gmail. And they demand your phone number instantly, claiming their boss just has to speak with you today. It's all fake pressure. Part 3. The evidence. We're going to go over 6 undeniable red flags. It is time to build your survival guide, so grab your phone right now. Take a screenshot of these next few sections. These are the undeniable clues the fraudsters leak, because no matter how good their fake profile picture is or how slick their initial message sounds, their operation will almost always expose one of these critical errors. Red flag number 1. The profile was created this month. Scammers constantly get reported and banned by these platforms, so if a supposed senior recruiter's profile was created in the last month or two, you need to immediately walk away. Seriously, this is the single most obvious tell. If someone is claiming to be the director of talent acquisition with 10 years of experience at a major corporation, but you look at their profile history and see they just joined the platform 3 weeks ago, no way. It's a scam. Because the platforms do catch these accounts eventually, the scammers are forced to constantly regenerate fresh profiles to keep their crime spree going. Red flags 2 and 3, bad emails, and horrifying typos. Look, legitimate recruiters communicate for a living. They do not use misspelled company names or free email addresses with random strings of numbers attached to them. If an alleged Amazon recruiter emails you from elijah64238@gmail.com, you are talking to a criminal. End of story. Another massive red flag is a shocking lack of attention to detail. Scammers will often clone the profile of a real recruiter, but in their rush, they make glaring typos in their own job title or company name. We have seen cases where the scammer lists their employer as Unilever instead of Unilever. A professional whose entire job is assessing your resume is not going to misspell the name of the multi-billion-dollar company they work for. Red flag number 4, watch out for the 500-plus connections illusion. As you probably know, having 500 or more connections is a standard sign of an established professional. But scammers can't actually build a real network of 500 people before getting banned. So what do? They game the system. They take the customizable website link field on their profile and simply type the words 500 plus connections right into it. At a quick glance, it looks totally legit. But if you actually click through and look at their real follower count, it'll be in the single digits. It is pure, calculated deception. Red flags 5 and 6 involve highly suspicious behavior. If someone is promising you a massive salary with 0 interview process, or they're stuffing 50 unrelated job titles into one single post just to catch the algorithm, you are being set up. Real job postings are targeted. A fake recruiter will make a single post claiming they are urgently hiring for data analysts, HR managers, payroll clerks, and graphic designers all at once, throwing in a mountain of hashtags to bait as many desperate searchers as humanly possible. Then they will literally spam the comments of other people's posts with "I am hiring, DM me." And the absolute biggest red flag of all, if you engage with them, they might offer you the job on the spot, or after a brief text-based chat on an app. Actually, scratch that. Real companies do not hand out 6-figure salaries without thoroughly vetting you face-to-face or on video. It just doesn't happen. Part 4. The defense. How do you actually protect yourself? Look, you don't want to become so paranoid that you end up ignoring a genuine life-changing job offer. You just need to shift from being a passive recipient to an active investigator. It is time to put your armor on. Here is your minimum 6-step defense protocol. First, verify their profile creation date. Second, check their true connection count. Third, take that too perfect profile picture, save it, and drop it into a reverse image search. More often than not, you'll find that the image was stolen from a real estate agent in another state, or it's just a stock photo. Fourth, go directly to the source. If they claim to be hiring for a remote role at a major bank, open a new tab, go to that bank's verified corporate website, and check their career page. If the job isn't listed there, the job doesn't exist. Fifth, look up the recruiter on the official corporate directory. And sixth, call the company's switchboard directly to ask if that person actually works there. A real recruiter will respect your caution, a scammer will get incredibly pushy or just disappear completely.
If you take nothing else away from this case file today, remember the golden rule. Legitimate employers pay you. They never, ever charge you. Burn this into your memory. You should not have to pay upfront for a legitimate job opportunity, ever. No paying for training materials, no paying for a background check via some unverified third-party link, no buying equipment from their quote-unquote approved Zender with a weird check they mailed you. If the word fee or payment enters the chat before you have worked a single hour, you are talking to a criminal, period. Keep your money and your sensitive identity documents completely off limits until you know for a fact you are securely standing inside a legitimate HR process.
Now, what if you realize you're already caught in their web? Cut all contact instantly. Do not try to outsmart them. Do not try to string them along. Just block them. Immediately report the fake profile to the platform so they can be removed before they destroy someone else's life. But don't stop there. People always ask, are these scammers actually getting caught? And the answer is yes. The government is actively cracking down on these organized rings, making recent arrests, but they need your help to track them. You need to file an official report at reportfraud.ftc.gov. And if you have lost money or handed over sensitive data, file a complaint with the FBI immediately at ic3.gov. Every single piece of evidence helps law enforcement map out these criminal networks and freeze their stolen assets. It's a harsh reality check, but fighting back is the only way to stop them.
Let's conclude with this final thought. The job hunt right now is incredibly stressful, and these predators are banking on your exhaustion and your hope. But now, you have their entire playbook. Share this explainer with family and friends to protect them, because everyone knows someone looking for work right now. Subscribe to the Fraud Files for daily scam alerts to keep yourself safe. Comment below if this happened to you or someone you know. Your story could literally save the next person reading the comments. Stay alert, stay safe. The fraudsters are watching, but now, so are we.